You're in the sweet spot, baby. You're in the sweet spot, girl. You're in the sweet spot, darling. It's a magical kingdom in a mixed up world. You're in the sweet spot, baby. You're in the sweet spot, girl. You're in the sweet spot, darling. It's a magical kingdom in a mixed up world. Welcome to the Sweet Spot. Name is Lynn, your host, and Ken's my co-host. Ken, how's it going?
Oh, Lynn, it is going. It is going. I am so excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to another episode of The Sweet Spot.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, too.
All right.
317, yeah?
Episode 317. That is impressive, Lynn.
I know.
I don't know how you do it.
You, too.
Oh, yes.
So you're wondering, who are these jokesters? We are former Disneyland Custodial cast members, and we talk Disneyland. We are also the hosts of the #1 Disneyland podcast, hosted by two former Disneyland Custodial cast members.
#1.
So until someone that used to be custodian starts a podcast,
we're #1.
we're #1. We are also authors of the books called Queen of the Kingdom, and we talk about this every week, so don't skip this part, because I know some people are like, I've heard it all before, because we have some news and some stuff to say in this introduction.
Yes, we have important announcements, and we also have them at the end of the show, too, so listen at the end of the shows, too. Yes.
Yeah, so we're the author of Queen of the Kingdom, and we have 2 volumes, and we currently have them both in stock on our website. You can get either book, and they're signed by both Ken and I. And we have a deal running where you can get both books. I don't remember what I have it at, but you can look on the sweetspot.com and check that out. And that deal also includes shipping. So if you need both books or are curious about them, you can get both of them signed on our website, thesweetspot.com. Or you can get them through Amazon or audio through audible.com and Kindle versions too. The Audible is just on the first book, so for now. For a while. Also, we have a Patreon where we do one bonus show per month for people that want to help support the show. It's just a little incentive to and a little thank you for helping us support the show, because we could not do it without the support. But we have a new Patreon, Ken.
We do?
Yes, we have.
Oh, that's great.
Just today, actually. His name is Michael Brady.
Oh, I really like this TV show.
Michael Brady, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. And if you want to be like Michael, you can go to patreon.com and search The Sweet Spot, or go to our website and click on the link. And we have 2 different amounts. You can give $5 or $7.49. And
you can give more if you want.
You can give more. You can always. There's a button on our website, I believe. It's just like you can give whatever amount you want if you're feeling generous and want to help our show. Because with the more money we get, the more things we're able to do. I mean, eventually we want to get Ken an annual pass so you can start reporting on these current events live from Disneyland, right?
Well, there are no more annual passes, Lynn. It would be a magic key.
Magic key, yes. You know what I mean.
So, by the way, before we I believe when I hired in, there was a foreman in the department named Mike Brady, and I'm wondering if this is one and the same. So anyway, but if people, what do people get if they do the $7.49 amount or more?
Well, $7.49, they get the bonus show plus an extra bit that we do tied onto it, which is our custodial segment, where we try to tie something into when we work there in custodial, or how it may affect custodial, the topic we're talking about for that month. And that's for 749. And 749, if people wonder, is the department number, 749. So we just thought that would be kind of clever. So we did that. So some important things to talk about real quick. The Disneyana event that was supposed to take place on the 11th and 12th. The 12th was the show where we were going to be selling our books. Was they say postponed until May of next year. So a little ways off. So that is not going to be happening.
So sorry if you were planning to be there to meet us.
Yeah.
We won't be there. I mean, you can still go, but we're not going to be there.
You can go to Disneyland on the 11th, and I will be there. So, and I have
find Lynn.
Yeah, I have these new buttons I was going to premiere at the Disneyana show, and now I have a whole bag of them. So, I will bring these, and somehow, some way, social media or whatever, if you text me on any of our social media, tell me you're in the park and you want to meet up, I will, because I'll check it throughout the day. I will meet up with you. I'd love to. So, and give you a button and say hi. So, somehow, some way, you can find me. So I will be there on Saturday, the 11th. Anyways, also, and another important thing here is Ken and I are planning on being at the Unicon Las Vegas. It's a Comic-Con type show in Las Vegas, and we talked about this. We had someone on from I want to say Charles, but he just goes by Rob. Rob on.
Yes.
From Unicon.
He was on the most recent mini episode.
Right, the most mini episode, and we talked all about this. So if you missed that one, because for some reason those shows get less downloads, Ken. If you missed it,
because they don't have the current events. That's why.
Oh, probably, yeah. And a lot of them don't have you.
So if you missed it, it was all about the Unicon event, and Unicon is October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. So on October 1st, it doesn't start until 2 p.m. So if you are coming from Southern California, if you get up early and get going, you can make it to be there when doors open at 2 o'clock on Friday. And another reason you want to be there on Friday is because Ken and I are going to be giving a presentation, a short presentation, that day at 4:30 p.m. on the main stage. I'm sure they'll have it in the program they hand out when you get there if you don't know where that is or whatnot. But we will be there on Friday the 1st, giving a presentation at 4:30 p.m. So we hope to see you there. Then we will be there all weekend. And the times for the rest of the days, I think it's like 10 to 5 or 9 to 5 or something like that. So 6, actually. I think it's 6. But anyways, love to see as many people up there as we can. It'd be awesome. People even maybe listen here from St. George and Utah, Arizona, California, it's not too far. So I'd love to see you in Vegas. You can get all the information. We have a link on our website at thesweetspot.com. You see the banner at the top, and you just click on that, and it'll take you there. You can buy the tickets, find out where it is. They even have special rates for hotels right now that are nearby, so check that out. All right.
Who's going to be our guest on the show tonight, Lynn?
You know what? I couldn't find anyone.
It's always that. That's what people think when we actually have guests lined up for miles, but people think, we couldn't get a guest, but sometimes we just do the show, just the two of us.
That's right. Old school, right?
That's right.
That's the way the show started. We didn't have very many guests back then, but we didn't know very many people, and the more people we get to know and meet brings on more guests. So, but I still like doing it sometimes with just Ken and I. And that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to talk about Disneyland, the year 2001.
2001, a Disneyland Odyssey.
All right. But next up, we're going to have the current events. Now we're going to have the current events. Ken, what do you have for us?
Oh, well, Lynn, we're loaded up with so much news, kind of, sort of. But, well, I wanted to start out with the first thing being this report that they had new concept art for the Princess and the Frog attraction being planned for both Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. And it's a story from the Disney Parks blog called Gather Around the Table for a Conversation and Peek at the latest developments of the upcoming attraction inspired by the Princess and the Frog. And as it says here in the article, as seen in this latest rendering of the attraction, the story will take place after the final kiss as Naveen and Louis join Tiana on her latest adventure, hosting a one-of-a-kind Mardi Gras celebration where everyone is welcome, during which some original music inspired by songs from the film will bring guests into the story. Tiana is leading the way, and fans will be able to encounter old friends and make new ones along the way as well. So there was a lot of attention, but not too many details. But there was a rendering, and of course you can click through at the sweep spot to see all that stuff, because we'll have links to all of this stuff we're going to talk about here. So if you go to thesweepspot.com, check it out.
Cool.
Of course, Laughing Place carried the story as well, and so did Mice Chat. With they have a whole thing in Mice Chat. The updated new details on Splash Mountain's upcoming Princess and the Frog theme. So were you able to see it, Lynn?
The movie? What?
The rendering.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really. I don't know.
It looked okay, but it's kind of hard to tell from anything from that. But
right,
it looks good. I guess Splash Mountain can use a little updating, as much as we're nostalgic for the the original.
Maybe they might replace some light bulbs. I mean,
maybe this will force them, to clean it up a little bit, but. It should be good, but it's going to be a while, right?
I've got a plan, though.
What's that?
Okay. After a few years after the makeover, they could move all the characters over to Tomorrowland and put them in the, where the Star Wars launch bay is now.
Yeah.
And they can do a sit-down show where you rotate around the different scenes.
Oh, yeah, that's cool, because
Wouldn't that be cool?
the building is round already. So,
yeah.
What a coincidence. Okay.
What an original idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So some other news about something new over in that neck of the park. Pelican's Landing coming soon to Disneyland. Yes. So as Laughing Place reports, the seating area at Harbor Galley is being expanded to include a lower level seating area next to a new dock. The combined upper and lower seating area will be called Pelican's Landing and is expected to open later in 2021.
Why would it be called something different than the restaurant?
That's a big mystery. Maybe we're going to find out. I mean, it is, if you think about it, that's kind of a quiet little corner there where once you get past the windows, the service windows, you can get back, go around the other side of the
little pathway.
Columbia, and there's a little pathway there. And it's kind of, aside from being a good landscaping buffer, it's kind of an underutilized area. And then, of course, you have the former keelboat dock, right? Which was most recently a smoking area.
So that's where they're building it onto, right?
Yes. So they're taking over that area. So I guess the keelboats aren't coming back after all, Yeah.
So what they'll probably do is, my assumption is, that little seating area they had in front of the window, they'll probably have like some stairs or ramps or whatever that go down to this lower area they're speaking of. That should be cool. I mean, I guess
we'll see what happens when it's done. I mean, I guess they really needed some more seating for,
Yeah.
that. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the park has gotten busier over the years, and there really hasn't. I don't think the restaurant seating has kept up to the pace of that.
Well, and they got rid of a
Uh,
lot of seating. Remember all the seating in front of the mansion that they got rid of for that
yeah,
when they started getting rid of like benches and things?
true. There's probably a direct correlation because that's what we would, if we had gotten something at Harbor Galley and we weren't sitting at the tables, and we weren't waiting in line for Splash Mountain, we probably would sit down on, over there.
Yeah.
And with that gone, I guess you do have to create some alternatives.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not, Tomorrowland aside, there's really not a lot of available space over in Disneyland, especially on the west side. So you've got to kind of create it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing here.
The biggest
Of course,
area is right there by River Bell and Stage Door. Like that's a pretty big area, but other than that, yeah.
It's pretty much a walkway, though.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there's the seating area for the restaurants, and then there's the walkway.
Yeah.
And then there's no extra space, and it's like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if it weren't for Fantasmic, I could picture them a long time ago having decided we're going to just park the Mark Twain at the dock, and we're going to shorten the. I mean, they already shortened the river for Galaxy's Edge,
Right.
but I can imagine, there's some people who probably wanted to just kind of develop over the river as it is, make more area for restaurants and shops and maybe a couple of attractions. I hope that never happens, but, I could totally see, if it weren't for Fantasmic, I could see that, being more likely to happen.
Right.
But hopefully I didn't give anybody any ideas right there. Okay. Oh, they point out that signs are up around the construction area stating that the Harbor Galley is still open for dining during construction. So yummy.
Good.
And the Orange County Register covered that as well. They noticed it, and they say Disneyland rarely creates anything without a tie-in to an existing intellectual property connected to Disney, Pixar, Marvel, or a Star Wars film. The most famous pelican in the Disney universe is Nigel from the 2003 Pixar animated film Finding Nemo. The brown pelican with a passion for dentistry has appeared as a large puppet in Finding Nemo, the musical at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Florida, and as a float in Mickey's Storybook Express Parade at the Shanghai Disneyland in China. So, interesting tag on that story there. I don't know if that means that they'll actually go with that character. They don't need to. I mean, Anyway, hey, take a sneak peek inside the new exclusive Disneyland Magic Key annual pass holder lounges. See, the headline, it's the Brady McDonald story in the Orange County Register, and they insisted on using that phrase, annual pass holder. It's, Disney has moved away from that. They moved away from annual. But anyway, a pair of new lounges exclusively for Magic Key annual pass holders at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure offer a quiet place to grab a cocktail and a chance to snap photos of Mickey and Minnie in Halloween costumes you won't see anywhere else in the parks. The Magic Key Lounge in Disneyland opened Wednesday, September 1st for a limited time to key holders. Advanced dining reservations for the new Magic Key Terrace in DCA will be available beginning Thursday, September 2nd, which is, as we record, is past. Magic Key Terrace opened to annual pass holders on August 25th, the same day that Magic Key annual passes went on sale. The new Magic Key Terrace on the second floor of the Golden Vine Winery was formerly the Alfresco Tasting Terrace, which was also exclusive to annual pass holders and their guests. Located above the Mendocino Terrace, the AP Bar sits next to the former Mondavi Vineyard Room fine dining restaurant that offers panoramic views of the park. So, what do you think about that? Having your own club? It's not a Club 33; it's a club something or other.
That sounds all right. I mean, They didn't have this before when they had the annual pass program, right?
No,
At least not
I don't
permanent.
think
It
so.
was like
I mean, they
yeah,
I remember a long time ago they did some parties, you know.
yeah, yeah,
They had the light magic preview party and
yeah,
just for annual pass holders.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks.
Um,
I haven't really seen any photos or video of the place, but we'll,
well, people have to click through and they can see photos
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
If they could click through at the sweepspot.com, and you will be able to see all this. The limited time Magic Key Lounge will be open to key holders from September 1st through October 30th in the Tomorrowland Starcade. The lounge offers photo opportunities, mobile phone charging stations, and other Magic Key perks.
Oh, so that's temporary, but the one at DCA is more.
And that looks like that's on an ongoing basis, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So, that story was covered by Laughing Place as well, and the Orange County Register also points out that Disneyland has a secret menu cocktail named after a fan favorite feral cat. Don't tell Mickey. And this is Brady McDonald weighing in. He says the Magic Key Terrace bar staff has created a secret menu cocktail called Nutmeg, named in honor of the Disneyland feral cat that likes to stop by the pass holder exclusive patio lounge. Looks so realistic, you know, that kudos to Imagineering for doing that. That's just amazing. Nutmeg belongs to a mostly hidden colony of feral cats that hunt rats at the Anaheim theme park. The well-fed cats make rare daytime appearances in the parks, but are out in force during the overnight graveyard shift. Disneyland provides feeding stations, neutering, and medical care for the feral felines that provide an invaluable service. So,
Cool.
but they have to change the batteries every now and then to keep it going. Yeah.
Sounds all right.
Okay. All right. And Laughing Place has a photo report on the Magic Key Terrace, opens at DCA. So they have a photo coverage of that. MiceChat.com has some updates, of course. They have a Disneyland update. The winds of change are blowing. And as they say, this is from August 23rd, as they say, wow, it's been another busy week with the breaking news that the new Disney Genie service is going to replace FastPass and MaxPass at Disneyland and FastPass Plus at Walt Disney World. Disney also announced it would be making some minor changes to the Disability Access service that includes some tech upgrades. Plus, we have some very important updates on how Magic Key will work and more info on the Princess and the Frog retheme of Splash Mountain. And they have another update from the 25th of August, Disneyland Resort update. This is from Dusty Sage. Magic Keys unlocked today and the new Halloween villains. And so they update on the Magic Key stuff and, talk about the Halloween upgrades. The Haunted Mansion holidays reopened and all that sort of thing. And there's also a Disneyland update from Mike Kindrich. That was from August 30th. Magic Key crowds and bats in the Belfry. And as he says, this has been a wild week at the Disneyland Resort with beautiful fall decorations returning, low crowds that haven't been seen in a long time, and the problematic first days of the new annual pass replacement program called Magic Key. There's a lot to cover today, so let's take a trip to the Disneyland Resort.
Today the Holiday Mansion, Haunted Mansion Holiday opened up today, which is really cool because it had been 2 years since they had that going. So
yeah, why didn't they do it last year?
They may have, but they didn't let anyone on.
We just didn't know it. We just didn't know about it.
Yeah, but it's good to know, like, that things are still moving forward. And they announced the other day something about the holiday, like they're going to bring back. Of course, I think everyone assumed they would, but they officially announced the holiday, like the trees and all the normal holiday stuff that they have around Christmas is coming back. So I think it was like November 12th or something like that or 6th or something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So moving on, right?
Yeah. Well, you can keep track of all this sort of stuff if you've got all this time to to spend all day keeping up to date on it. But you know what? It's really hard. So, but we know that more and more elements of our favorite venues are reopening. So can you keep up with all the changes? What's open? What's not? Can you get reservations? What are the rules? Why not book with Concierge? Concierge.com is the place to go to get your next getaway Disney vacation planned. It won't cost you any more than planning your vacation on your own, but it will take away the stress and uncertainty. They have the answers to your questions because all they focus on is Disney. Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney's Aulani in Hawaii, the Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney. Wherever you want to go, contact our magical vacation and travel planning partners, Concierge. They're at CONCIEARS.com. They are keeping up to date on everything, so let Concierge do the heavy lifting so you can plan your Disney vacation through them. It's not going to cost you any more. It'll just make things a whole lot easier for you. Contact concierge.com, book a vacation package with them, such as, a hotel stay with theme park tickets, or maybe a week-long cruise, or both, do them together. And tell them that the Sweep Spot sent you, and you'll get a special gift when you book with them. All right? So I sent my own mother to them. And you should check them out, too, if you're planning on a trip.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ken.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Ken and Lynn cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We start our journey at Walt Disney World, where an old amenity came back online this week. Club-level lounges are an added bonus at some of the resort hotels. For a higher room rate, your family can access a special lounge. Food and beverages are complimentary within, changing throughout the day. It's not a big meal, but you can get fruit and pastries in the morning, soups and breads for a light lunch, meats and cheeses in the evening, and desserts at night. There are even a few beer and wine options, all free with the club-level room. Each club lounge will also have a concierge or two. It feels a bit weird to say it that way, right? Anyway, these concierges can help you with dining reservations and even travel arrangements. You can sit and relax and watch Disney movies or TV while you dine. It's a fair amount for the money. If your family isn't the type to spend all day in the parks, this is a great place to recharge with a small meal. Right now, the only lounge open is in Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. The Grand Floridian's Royal Palm Club opens on September 16th. In the coming months, Boardwalk, Wilderness Lodge, the Contemporary, and Coronado Springs lounges will also reopen. Keep an eye on opening dates if you want that upgraded experience on your next trip. Sailing out of Port Canaveral, Florida, Disney Cruise Line trips are back at sea. If you're comfortable heading to the Caribbean, you can enjoy up to 25% off cruise packages departing in September, October, and November. The fun isn't limited to the East Coast this time, though. Starting October 1st, the Disney Wonder will officially set sail once again. Short trips around Pacific destinations even include a trip to the Panama Canal. Through all of this, Disney has been very adaptive to changing regulations, even while they keep guests supported. Some longer cruises have been reduced in length. Guests with canceled or altered cruises can receive full refunds, cruise credits up to 125% the value of the cruise, onboard dining credits, and other amenities. Disney really can take care of its guests. As usual, we also have news of the Disney Wish, the new ship set to embark on its maiden voyage next year. We got to see some concept art this week for the Aqua Mouse, the first tube ride on a Disney ship with a story. For now, it seems like there will be 2 different animated sequences on the ride. Both stories are based off the new adventures of Mickey Mouse. The ride is packed with water blasters, misters, pop jets, and slides, so you'll have plenty to see and do in addition to the 2 animated stories while you zip around the ship. Before we get back to the West Coast, let's make a stop on Oahu. Disney's Aulani Resort and Spa celebrated its 10th anniversary a few days ago on August 29th. Resort's characters' auntie and uncle told special stories to the collected guests. Mickey, Minnie, and Olumel showed off new outfits for the occasion. It was a fun way to celebrate one of Disney's most luxurious resorts. If you want to join in on that fun, there are plenty of discounted rooms available at Aulani. Guests staying 4 nights get a 25% discount, and those staying 5 or more nights can get 30% off their stay. This discount is for stays from now through mid-December, with a few full-price days around Thanksgiving. Military guests can get rooms during the same time period for 35% off, even if they're only staying for 2 nights. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over and visit the Facebook pages and websites of both the Sweep Spot and us, their official travel planners concierge. We look forward to planning something special for you and your family. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
No need to make a reservation. Free yourself with transformation. Come and join our federation. Have fun!
In this segment of our show, we're going to talk about the year 2001. And in this series...
2001?
I know.
Dun, 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 dun,
Well,
dun. Okay, anyway. Go ahead.
In this series, we always talk about the year ending in the current year. We're in 2021, so we're doing 2001. And we're going to talk about this year. It's interesting with this year is because both you and I were both working at Disneyland during this time.
Yes.
I had only been there 3 years at this time, and you had been there about
11 years.
11 years, yeah. So it's an interesting year, and we'll talk all about why it was interesting and some of the changes and things that happened during that year. So the first thing is that Disneyland had is just finishing up their celebration of the 45th anniversary of the park. In 2000, it was that. So I looked up some information, Ken. So a one park ticket was $43.
Oh my gosh, you can barely park for that now.
I know. So I wanted to back this up a little bit because during this time, from January 2001 on, DCA is pretty much done. I think they were starting to do cast previews in January and another type of previews. We've done pass holder preview. I don't remember, but they were doing previews for people during this time, and I know that's when you went to your preview, and I did too. So that was going on. So the resort was pretty much slowly opening. I have some dates here. January 2nd, the Grand Californian Hotel opened.
Wow.
Yeah. So before, I don't know if they had guests on January 2nd or if it was just like an official ceremony opening, or because there wasn't really anything. I guess you could stay there and then go to Disneyland, but yeah. So Downtown Disney opened on January 12th.
Yes.
And then, of course, California Adventure on February 8th.
Wow. It finally became a resort.
It did, yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And it was interesting, leading up to that year because you and I were both hired into Disneyland, but then had this opportunity to go over to California Adventure if we wanted to.
Right.
And we both chose to stay, which ended up being the better decision, I think, for us.
Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure why they couldn't just have us, why they couldn't make it interchangeable, especially since they ran everything for a long time. They ran everything out of one office.
Yeah.
Custodial Central covered both parks, so.
Even up till the time I left, they were still doing that. But I always wondered that because I know a lot of it had to do with the unions and contracts, but security was one department that was able to. I don't know about ODV, but I know I think they were actually. I think they were able to swap around. I know that security was. So there's certain departments that did cross over. I just think it would have been better to have it that way because then they could have utilized more cast members in that way. Like when we needed more, they could have sent California people over.
Right. But they, at first they were thinking that California Adventure was going to be really, really overwhelmingly busy. Mm-hmm. I mean, they weren't even. I don't even think they were extending annual passes to cover it at first. They were going to say, no, that's going to be a whole separate thing, and it's. I mean, the push originally. The whole reason for building another theme park is to try to get people to stay at the resort longer, stay in the hotels, buy multi-day tickets, and there was talk like, well, they might not even guarantee entry to people except people who have hotel stays,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because they didn't know what the demand for it was going to be like. And it was a much smaller park than it is now. I mean, people need to keep that in mind. It was a much smaller park. That whole area with Avengers Campus and Tower of Terror. I mean, well, it's now Mission Breakout. That Cars Land. That all that stuff wasn't there. So
Bugs Land was as far, or not Bugs Land. Tough to Be a Bug was as far as it went in that farm area. And
so it was much smaller, but but because it. Because people were given the choice of whether they wanted to stay at Disneyland or work there, and some people left, that shot us up in seniority. Those of us who stayed at Disneyland, for every person with more seniority that moved over there, we moved up. Disneyland. So
I remember the first week or two it opened. They scheduled me. They asked me, but they asked if I wanted to do a 6th day. And I did, just because I thought, this would be an opportunity to work, in a different park. It'd be interesting. So I did take up. I ended up only working one shift there. They ended up canceling after. I think they found out, but they ended up canceling the next shift I had there. And then they ER'd me. So I went over and worked in Hollywoodland. I think Susan was my lead, and then and then they after about 3 or 4 hours, they asked me if I wanted to go home. So, and I was pretty bored by that point. I mean,
things weren't as crowded as they thought they would be.
No, and it was boring. I mean, because it was so slow, there wasn't anything to clean up.
My goodness.
Yeah. Much different now over there, and much better.
Yeah.
What a more enjoyable park to go to now. So that's going on over there. During this whole year, of course, it opened. But then let's go over to Disneyland, and then we'll talk about after I go through each area, we'll talk about some of the events and things that happened during that year, because we have a major event that happened in our history and stuff. So we have Main Street, and something interesting I found here was that Bank of America was the annual pass processing center. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
and it closed for that on January 7th.
Well, that's where the where it's Disneyana now, or the Disney Gallery. I can't remember which they call it.
Yeah.
But it's it's what's right there next to the Opera House. Lincoln show at the Opera House. So.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I had that wrong. I don't know when it was the process. Okay, so I don't have a date on when it closed, but it was the processing center, yeah. But what I have the date for was this Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln closed on January 7th for a redo. And that's when they enhanced. Remember, they had the new show with the enhanced sound, and you had to have those I think you wore headphones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was binaural sound, which they had been using it at the Disney MGM Studios for a certain and it was used in the Alien Encounter attraction.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, isn't that the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that closed January 7th. So it sounds like after the holidays, the down season started then. Then of course we have the train station, and then it reopened. The Great Moments of Mr. Lincoln reopened on July 17th, and it was called Journey to Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
So it was down 6-7 months. So
why would they open it on the 17th? Oh no,
yeah, we know. Let's go over to Adventureland. So no, I don't have any notes for Adventureland, but I'll just name real quick. They had Tiki Room, Jungle Cruise, Indy, and Tarzan's Treehouse. So basically what we have now.
Well, it was a horribly different Jungle Cruise, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And Aladdin's Oasis.
I don't have that here, but yeah, I think it was available for the story time, or
yeah, I think it was still. I think it was story time stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. New Orleans, we have Pirates Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and the train station. And again, I don't have any notes for that. It's gonna be a short show, right?
Thanks for joining us, folks.
So Critter Country, we have Splash Mountain, the canoes,
and
Country Bear Jamboree.
Yes, the Country Bear Jamboree was there most of the year. It wasn't the Jamboree. It was the Country Bear Playhouse, but the show was the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown.
I know. I just call it Jamboree just to cover all bases. But yeah. So it closed on September 9th, and they had a cast farewell, I guess you could say, on September 10th. And do you remember going? Did you go to any of those?
I did go the last day.
On the 10th.
I went to the last day, I think.
So did I, yeah.
It was I think it was on the 9th, wasn't it? Or that was the last day for guests, was the 9th?
Yeah, for guests, the 9th, and then the cast was
okay. I think I was working my Monday through Thursday job. It was I started that in 2000. So
yeah, it would have been a Monday. Yeah.
So what I did is I went on the Sunday.
Okay, so the 9th.
Like after my shift or whatever, I went and did the show, on the 9th. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did, because for like a week or so they had where they allowed you to have flash photography. And, and they had the characters out there for like a photo op thing.
Yeah.
Which they normally didn't have. And I remember going to that, like with guests, with my wife, on my day off or something. And then I went for the cast one on Monday. I think I was working and went over and saw it. But because we're right there with these dates, I guess we'll mention. And then, of course, the 10th and then the 11th. The next day was September 11th.
We had no idea. I mean, we were just...
Right.
carefree, and we could come to the parks without getting our bags inspected. I mean, we were just
Right.
carefree, and yeah. I
Yeah, the
mean,
world kind of changed.
they had built, they had redone the whole entrance area, because now they have 2 theme parks, and they had downtown Disney. They had redone all that, but they had done it without the extra security in mind.
Right.
So then so after 9/11, they had to scramble, and they had to put up things to, they're going to start inspecting everybody's bags.
Right.
So that was, it's unfortunate that the way the timing worked out. If they could have planned things out ahead of time, I guess they would have built things slightly different. But I mean, you can see they've been tinkering with it ever since.
Yeah, they probably would have had more of a permanent thing, sort of like they have now, but they just had these pop-up tent things, and right after that. But
yeah,
and I've told the story before. I have no significant story except for that I was supposed to work that day, and they called me that morning and asked me if I wanted to come in or not. Either way, I would get paid for it. So I chose to stay home. But
I was at the office, but but of course after that, going in there, it was like extra security, and keep your eyes open for stuff, and
right.
If somebody spilled some churro sugar on the ground, it was like, wait, is that anthrax?
Right. Oh yeah, that whole thing. Yeah.
Because that came after,
Yeah. Yeah, things were changing, and so yeah, that happened in September. So not long after DCA had opened in February. So
and Tokyo Disney was opening. Tokyo Disney opened like in September of the Tokyo Disney Seas, I should say.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it opened like that month. So talk about bad timing. Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that. So that's Critter Country. Then we have Frontierland. I have the rafts to Tom Sawyer Island, Mark Twain in Columbia, and then Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. So no big changes there. The ranch was open at that time, I believe. I think I had something on my notes here about that. The Big Thunder Ranch closed on January 27th. So I think that's when it closed. And remember, it was open for a while, to do special parties there or something. Every now and then I remember seeing it open.
Yeah, I mean, they would. The festival arena was, not
that area, yeah.
But yeah, the ranch is adjacent.
Because we'd have to clean those restrooms still.
Yes.
Because they would be utilized by either people at the arena or the picnic table area. Because those tables still stayed there from the barbecue.
Right.
But anyway, so that's Frontierland, and then we'll move into Fantasyland, and we have Casey Jr., Dumbo, Pinocchio, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty's Castle Walkthrough, which closed on September 11th and didn't reopen for years, right?
Well, it got renovated, didn't it?
Right. It didn't open. It got renovated and opened, I think, after I left.
One of us, a guest on this very podcast, was involved in that. Not this episode.
Two of them.
Not this episode.
Two of them.
Yes, but Chris Merritt, and they were
and Tony Baxter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that happened, and then we have Peter Pan, Mr. Toad, King Arthur's Carousel, Storybook Canal Boats, Alice in Wonderland, The Teacups, Matterhorn, Small World, and the Two-Town Train Station.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing different there, except for little changes that have happened over the years. Of course, the Skyway Tower is not there, little building's not there anymore, and Dumbo has an extended queue area.
Yeah.
So little things
But
like
what-
that. The castle's different.
What was the show back at the
Oh, I have
Disneyland
that.
Theater? Was it Animazement, the musical? Was it that? Or
No, it was Mickey's Detective School.
Mickey's Detective School. Oh boy.
Yeah.
How cute.
And then at Christmas, it was Minnie's Christmas Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Toontown, and I have Gadget's Go Coaster, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, Mickey's House, Minnie's House, Goofy's Bounce House, still bouncing then. Donald's Boat and the Jolly Trolley was still running.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
Someone said they used to have two running at the same time, but
Yes,
I
they
had only
would.
seen
Yes,
one.
they would.
Did they?
And so they had to, their timing had to be right so that they, they wouldn't bump into each other.
Right.
They had to pass the midway, just like with the horse-drawn trolleys on Main Street.
Oh yeah.
You have to,
Well, I knew there was two trolleys because I'd always see one in that back Bay Area thing, but I just didn't know they utilized both at the same time.
Yeah.
So some changes up there in Toontown. And then we have Tomorrowland. So we have the monorail,
Yeah.
Autopia, the train station, Innoventions, Ken.
Innoventions. Well, you have to, it's only been 3 years since the renovation, so.
Yeah, only 3.
Yeah.
Innoventions. Space Mountain. Now, I don't know when it was painted white again. Remember it was that bronze color?
They might have done it when they rebuilt the interior in 2005.
So it may have still been bronze.
Yeah,
at
no,
that
it
time.
definitely still was. It's only been, the renovation,
3 years, yeah.
opened in May of 1998. So
98,
yeah.
Star Tours, the original.
Yes, not the Adventures Continue. It's old school Star Tours. The only permanent Star Wars attraction that existed in theme parks at the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, that's kind of bizarre how many years that was the only, that. Then, of course, there were Star Tours in the other Disney parks around the world, but yeah.
Astro Orbiter, and then I have Rocket Rods listed here, but
I think
they had closed.
Yeah, I think they had gone on hiatus by 2001.
Right. They weren't. It wasn't officially announced that it was closed yet, but
Yeah.
I don't think. And then we have Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience got put in with the renovation. The show had debuted at Epcot Center in 1984, and then was added to the new Tomorrowland at Disneyland in 1998, replacing Captain EO. And Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Remember we used to do the.
We would go in there
sweeps.
for the honey sweeps, or we would call me their honey sweeps or Hista sweeps. Hista being the acronym, but that was fun. Going in while the show was still running, and being behind the audience and waiting for the show to end, and doing a cleanup before the next audience could be let in.
It was always funny watching the whole, because it moved, the seats. It's funny watching all that.
The whole seat
behind.
The whole seat.
Because where we would stand, it wouldn't move.
Right.
We were behind the break in the ground where it would move.
Yeah.
Cosmic Waves. Ken.
Oh boy. That was a fountain. Well, the ball is still there, right?
Yeah, but the fountains are gone.
They had fountains around the ball that people would. I mean, the original idea for it was that people would try to avoid getting hit by the water and they would get to the ball, but people decided, no, we'd like to get hit by the water.
Yeah, remember there'd just be kids laying on top of them?
Yeah. For some of them, I think that might have been the only time they would shower off,
Yeah, it would start to smell over there, too. It's like weird. And there'd be code U's in there, too, sometimes.
No.
So the parades we have is the 45 Years of Magic was still running through that time.
That was the one. Didn't that start off with the pomp and circumstance music?
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like a nod to Fantasia 2000, or
right.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that parade ran, but I know I have it. I mean, according to, I get some of this information from Jason's Disneyland Almanac.
Yes.
And Jason Schultz, right?
Right. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Very has a lot of information on stats and things. So,
he showed me that almanac back when it was a computer program.
Oh, really?
He had it in like a laptop computer, and he hadn't made it into a book yet. It was quite fascinating. So
yeah, it is. It's a cool book to look at. I think you can still find it on Amazon, but has like every day, well, almost every day, the park was open, and the hours, and sometimes even the weather, and an estimate of attendance, and then it'll have like special events, things that closed or opened or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'd get a lot of my information from that, and then the shows. Like I'd mentioned, Mickey's Detective School, and then at Christmas time was Minnie's Christmas Party.
What was still relatively new was Small World Holiday during the holiday.
That's true. I forgot about
that. Isn't that where Fast Passes started?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that was Small World. Temporary. Small World was popular year round, but Small World Holiday was extra popular.
Yeah, for sure. I think, we've talked about it probably when it opened. I can't remember, but I think it may have opened 99.
I think so.
Yeah. So still fairly new. And then I have that Disneyland closed. They never opened on September 11th. And then a few days later, they had a ceremony in Town Square, a moment of silence, and I remember standing there on the porch of the City Hall where the restroom is, because I was cleaning that restroom, and I thought, what's going on out here? And so I was able to witness that. The Big Thunder Ranch I mentioned closed on January 27th. During this year, Walt's 100th birthday was celebrated.
Oh, yes. Well, that would have been in December. It was the actual anniversary. And I believe they got Richard Sherman on a piano in front of the partner statue.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us a story about Feed the Birds and how they'd play it, and for Walt, when he'd request. And then he said, I'm going to play it for him again right now,
Yeah.
Talk about a touching moment,
Yeah.
So.
If I was there, I wasn't on Main Street when that happened, but I remember hearing about it. Mark Ramirez was the 450 millionth guest on March 15th.
Was he really, though? Do they really know that?
I don't know.
No, they don't. They don't really know that. They pick somebody, is what they do. I'm sorry to burst your bubbles, people, but they pick somebody, okay?
Yeah. Well, he was picked.
Lucky him. That's.
Yeah, because I hear those people get like lifetime passes and everything.
All they need is like free churros, and that's enough value that's a major award. You have to tell the IRS that got that.
Yeah.
So.
Tomorrowland Terrace closed in June And it was changed to Club Buzz. Remember that?
No, light years above the rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was themed all to the Buzz Lightyear.
Well, they would do a live show, you know. Darla, was it Starla? Starla, I think, she wanted to be a space ranger. So she was a space scout or something, and and it's about her journey to become a space ranger.
Mm-hmm.
So that was I liked that show. It was great.
Yeah. That was good. The premiere shop closed in November. Remember that?
I do. I keep forgetting what it was called, but yeah, the premiere shop. I spent many a years in going through that shop when I was a pass holder.
Yeah, same here. Remember they had those machines where you can make those CDs of like attraction, right? Music.
Yes. The Disneyland Forever or whatever they called it.
Yeah. I still have one of those that I made. And so because California Adventure was did not start up. We have a couple of promotions that happened that year because it did not start off very strong. So they were concerned. So they thought, we got to pull out the big guns, right? So the first thing they pulled out was, let's bring the electrical parade back. So they called it Disney's Electrical Parade.
But they put it in California Adventure.
Right.
So, because it had left Disneyland 5 years prior. So.
That was July 3rd. It made its appearance over there. And the other thing they had was, trying to go in order here, the Power of Blast in the theater there, where what was that, Step in Time or whatever it was called? Remember that show they had in the Hyperion?
Yes.
Yeah, they brought in the Power of Blast, which is like a drum and bugle corps kind of show.
The Power of Blast,
Did you ever go see that?
No.
It was just like I said. It was like a marching band, pretty much on stage. They had like girls with flags and guys, flags, and they had drums and horns, and it was pretty cool. But it was very random. It had no theming towards Disney. So that happened because they're trying to do something different. Then another thing happened. Actually, before that. September 14th, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that happened.
Well,
in September.
that was that show, the television show, was really a huge hit, a big deal.
Yeah. With Regis
Philbin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you were gonna do an impression.
Well, what can I say? I mean, I do the Walt Disney World Christmas Parade and the Easter Parade, and now they have me doing Millionaire. So
that guy was so cool. So they had this. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was in one of those. What do they call those? Sound stages?
It was a sound stage. Yes.
Yeah, next to where Muppet 3D is, in between there and what was Superstar Limo then.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything going on there now. It might be a shop. I think it's like called the Premiere Shop or something like that. But anyways, they had it in there. It was in the. It looked just like the show when you walked in. They had like bleacher seating, like you would at any kind of a TV show filming. And then they had of course, the chairs and everything that looked like the TV show, but they gave guests actually chances to win prizes. So pretty cool. I think I went to it one time on my day off with Aaron, but and then something that we had mentioned earlier in our current events. Actually opened this year, which was on October 5th. Oh, this is my sister's birthday. October 5th, Haunted Mansion Holiday was the first year.
October 5th? You mean they didn't get it in there by the end of August like they do now? I mean,
No, they waited all the way till October.
wow.
I know. So that happened. And I remember that. I remember previewing that, and they had some extra parties and things there that year, surrounded around the opening of it.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, that's all I have. Unless you want to talk about, what we were doing then. We were,
we were
custodial.
The Esplanade was still a relatively new area.
Mm-hmm.
Because up until the resort expansion, you would stick somebody out at the main gate, but they were part of the Main Street crew.
Right.
Once the resort expansion happened, I mean, you might just kind of like how you'd have a separate lead for Toontown. Sometimes you might have a separate lead to cover parking lot. But what he would do is that foreman, he or she, would take a pickup truck and then go out to the parking lot, sometimes with another person, and then they would empty out all the trash cans in the parking lot. They were bagged trash cans, and you'd pile the bags up in the back of the pickup truck, and then you would drive it to the north end of the property to dump it in the DOB. But that all changed when that got converted into the Esplanade, the area between the parks, and then that became a separate area of its own. Downtown Disney is covered by the DCA custodial people, and the Esplanade is covered by the Disneyland custodial people. So it was an additional area that would always need a foreman and a crew. You'd have a foreman and 2 or 3 people out there with you, so that you could sweep up the area and dump the trash cans and respond to any calls out there.
It's really weird that it was split up that way, because the areas were right next to each other, and I mean, you imagine if you'd had, I don't know, and then we had the parking structure, so it was just kind of like we had the parking structure, they had downtown, and then we had Esplanade. So.
Yeah, I don't know how those decisions were made, but
No. I'm sure if we asked Ray, he would have known, or he still knows.
I'm sure he was privy to those decisions, so he probably was the one determining that. But it was, I mean, I had, for 4 years, I had been working at the park full time, and then in May of 2000, I had dropped down to I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like Monday holidays or whatever at the park. Mm-hmm. Well, any holidays really, like Thanksgiving or whatever, And so so by then it was my second job. It wasn't my full time. It wasn't, it was my extra job. It was a job I didn't expect that I would still be able to have when I got my other job. But I was able to still do it. So I was there, and I was having a lot of fun because I wasn't worried.
No pressure.
There was no pressure because I thought, well, the worst thing they could do is fire me, and then I'll have 3 days a week off, And so it was fun. Of course, I was looking for other positions in the company, because I said, well, now I'm getting experience at this other job, so maybe I can find, So I was looking for jobs in the company, like looking for jobs at Imagineering, looking for jobs like cast communications at the resort, anything where I could apply my writing and my speaking skills to, things like that. So it was a different time for me, and you were there, all week long, and I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'd often.
Yeah, I had some weird days off. I had the by that time I think I went back to college, and so I asked for like Tuesday, Thursday off or something like that.
Split days off, yeah.
Yeah, because you know how classes are for colleges, it's like that. So it's like either Monday, Wednesday, or something.
Yeah.
So I think I did that, and then I worked on the weekends, and I was able to see you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I had only been a lead by 2001. I had only been a lead maybe a year.
Yeah.
And when they had the split happen, I was able to get more lead shifts because up to that point I was only getting like Toontown and things like that. That wasn't all the time lead shifts.
Yeah.
But then after the split happened, I was able to pretty much get a lead shift every shift. It was a lot of night closing shifts, but I had lead shifts. So. The only time I didn't was maybe during the week in the January, like the slower season that we had then.
Because there was such a thing back then.
Yeah. Especially in 2000. I mean, after September 11th, things really slowed down for a good year or so, I would say. Things picked back up around the 50th, of course. So yeah, 2001 in Disneyland was a different year. We had some changes and things that we spoke about, but all in all, I miss those times. I miss the $43 a person, right?
43, and well, they eventually introduced park hopper tickets.
Right, I don't remember what they were when they first started.
But originally it was you can't visit both parks on one day. You have to buy a multi-day ticket to visit both parks. And like I said, California Adventure was a much smaller park back then. They've added those extra areas. They quickly added a Bugs Land later on. Which is now where the Adventures campus is, and of course, they added the tower, and they added Cars Land. So it was a much smaller park back then, but it was the same gate price as Disneyland. And so a lot of people were just saying, well, why would I want to do a smaller park when I could do Disney? Well, because it's new, I mean, it did have a couple of experiences you couldn't get elsewhere. Soaring over California was an experience that didn't exist anywhere else. It wasn't even at other Disney parks yet.
Superstar Limo, you couldn't do it at any other park.
Well, there's a good reason for that.
And that didn't even make it a year.
I don't know, but the what's now the Incredicoaster, California Screamin', that was kind of different.
Right, there was no Toy Story. Midway Mania then, and no Little Mermaid.
But what they had was the Maliboomer.
Oh,
they had the Maliboomer, which was one of those, drop rides. That which I guess they felt was kind of redundant after Tower of Terror opened, so they got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of changes in that park, for sure. But our show, we mainly focus on Disneyland, but we do mention and talk about California Adventure, and we've done full history shows on that park in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any kind of memories from 2001, something you'd want to share, you can find us on any of the social medias. Facebook, Twitter. We have all those listed on our website, thesweepspot.com, and you can leave us your story. You can always email us anytime at thesweepspot@gmail.com, and Ken and I always try to share things with Ken that I get, or where we both get messages through our Facebook page, I believe. So, so feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear your memories you have of the year 2001 at Disneyland. Okay, well, that concludes episode 317 of the Sweep Spot Podcast.
I really like those guys. I could listen to them for a long time.
That's right.
So I could listen to them while I'm trying to go to sleep.
That's right. So. It's almost time to go to sleep.
People should hire us for. People should totally hire us for voiceover for sleep tapes, you know.
Yeah, don't tell the people from Unicon this, because we don't want people to come see our presentation and fall asleep, right?
Oh yeah, but well, we appreciate you listening, and we always do have announcements to make here at the end of the show. So thank you for still listening.
The only announcements I really have is just to say what we said in the beginning, was that we hope to see you at Unicon somehow, some way. I hope, and I don't know if this will happen, but I hope to record our presentation so we can play it as one of our mini episodes, but we will have to see if that is
yeah, so we don't know if that's going to happen, so you got to come see it live.
Right.
Come see it live, unless of course you're listening to this after the fact. But
you think we could live stream it somehow?
I don't know, but
ask them if that's legal. No, but
everything's legal in Vegas, right?
Oh, okay, true. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Ken and I haven't seen each other in like 2 years, so yeah, it should be fun. So come check us out there. We have a bunch of cool shows to come soon, and also go back and listen to our old episodes if you haven't, and tell a friend.
Yeah, spread the word and tell people how they can listen to the show. Join our group on Facebook, and find us on Twitter. Just spread the word.
Cool. Well, it's time to say goodbye. It's time to go to sleep.
To all our company. You are getting sleepy. Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening.